Jimmy O here from JoBlo.com, and I'm here to talk about the new Terminator, Dark Fate. Now guys, I'm a tried and true fan of the original Terminator and of course T2. Now it was impossible for me to not get at least a little excited about the prospect of Sarah Connor's return. While Arnold Schwarzenegger has made regular appearances in everything that came after T2, aside of course from Salvation, there was always something missing from the sequels. So when the announcement came that Linda Hamilton would be returning to play Sarah once again, well, there was a massive level of excitement at the prospect of her involvement. And now guys, it's here. Dark Fate brings the two back, and frankly it feels much closer in tone to the first two films than what we've witnessed since. I mean, at the very beginning we were effectively made aware of the psychological state that Connor was in, and with that, a reminder of how significant she is to this series. The Terminator's target this time is Dani Ramos, played by Natalia Reyes. We find that she's living a normal life in Mexico, working alongside her brother Diego in a factory. The film wastes almost no time introducing Grace, played by Mackenzie Davis, her guardian from the future. And now a new Terminator comes along, played by Gabriel Luna, both of them seeking out Dani for reasons that are revealed during the later half. With only minutes to spare, Grace is able to save Dani before the vicious beast takes her down. This time, the murderous cyborg is an exceptionally deadly specimen, one that is near impossible to destroy. Well, I guess they all were a little bit, right? But in the middle of a massive chase sequence, Connor makes her first appearance in the film, and what a moment it is. Soon, Sarah, Dani, and Grace are on the run, and they are in need of something far more powerful than the arsenal they are equipped with. This leads them to an anonymous figure that has been helping Sarah kill off any Terminator that makes an appearance. One that has been hiding behind technology, well, up until this film. Going into Dark Fate, I made the decision to avoid teasers and trailers as much as possible. There is something satisfying about stepping into a movie like this knowing next to nothing about what would unravel. That said, I'm going to avoid spoiling too much of the plot here. I will say, however, that I was a bit nervous as to how well the visual effects in the finished product would work due to the previews. It's not that they were terrible, but they just didn't bring much confidence in what we were about to witness. Thankfully, they do work in context of the story, and this latest chapter in the sci-fi series is perhaps the best since T2. In fact, yeah, it is. Much of that has to do with the return of Sarah. In the story, Hamilton is bruised and gruff and ready to take down anything that gets in her way. Her work here certainly feels true to the evolution that began with the first film up until its exceptional follow-up. Hamilton is completely in charge here. The actress isn't afraid of looking weathered and worn. In every way, she feels like what Sarah Connor would have become. Funnily enough, having her return all these years later as a cursing and intensely brutal killing machine herself, it almost feels like it wouldn't have worked nearly as well if she had returned before. Her involvement was absolutely necessary to make this film work. And while I'd rather not go into too much detail about Schwarzenegger's return, it was quite a moment seeing these two together again, older and perhaps a little wiser. Mackenzie Davis takes on the role of a protector to the frightened yet tough Dani. The two are thrown together quickly and must escape Gabriel Luna's villainous baddie. For Davis, the actress handles the action especially well, but she adds a layer of humanity similar to what Michael Biehn brought to the original film. And Natalia Reyes as the innocent girl hunted down by a killing machine is also well cast and easy to sympathize with. But adding Sarah to the mix, man, there is an excellent dynamic to the trio. While this story feels slightly similar in terms of how and why Dani is being hunted, it still manages to avoid feeling like a generic sequel. Perhaps opening this up to another deadly and corrupt group of stupid humans not knowing how to stop technology when it gets bad. It's a little repetitive, but it still works. In fact, it works rather well. When it comes to the action, there are a number of thrilling set pieces that will have audiences hanging on the edge of their seats. In fact, having seen a bit too much of the first major Terminator attack, it was still a heart-pounding and enthralling series of events. As for the CGI and the effects, Luna's killing machine is an intriguing visual creation. It's one of the most efficient and dangerous that we've seen so far in the franchise. He's aggressive and deadly, and once he locks onto a target, there's not much you can do to stop him. The film has an R rating, and it certainly earns it. The violence, however, isn't terribly over the top, but once it gets going, it ceases to stop with only a few breaks in between. Tim Miller not only brings the action to the forefront, but he allows for strong characters to play off each other in a few quieter moments. While there's humor, for sure, it's not excessive and disruptive to the story in any way. Now, by bringing Linda Hamilton back to this iconic role, Tim Miller has given us the most satisfying sequel since the powerhouse of Jim Cameron's T2. The actress brings a much-needed sense of ferociousness and intensity to her portrayal, and her relationship with both Davis and Reyes is a nice touch, bringing a bit of soul to the story. Even the score by Junkie XL beautifully captures the brilliance of Brad Fiedel gave us with the original score. Whether or not this was a story that needed to be told, I'm certainly glad it was. It would be a near impossible task to recreate the magic of the 1991 classic, but Miller certainly comes the closest we've seen. Terminator Dark Fate is a supercharged sequel, one that reminds us how necessary Sarah Connor is to the Terminator universe. My grade? I'm giving this puppy a 9 out of 10. Thanks for listening.
When this is all over, I am going to kill you.
I understand.
I'll be back.